Yes. Hi, my name's Molly. I'm the founder of Freckles Fellowship Pigeon Rescue and Sanctuary in Melbourne.
Right. So I'm Glenn Matthews. I've been the president of the Geelong Pigeon Racing Association and the Bay City Pigeon Club for about 10 years.
So we're a fairly new rescue, but I've been rescuing pigeons for about 7 or 8 years now.
I got into pigeons when I was 12. I raced in partnership with my grandfather. He handed the pigeons to me when I was 13, and once you start with pigeons, it's hard to stop.
When the time came, we decided, to start our own foundation to rescue a few more birds in Melbourne, especially given the fact that there weren't many organisations taking them in, because pigeons, they sort of fall between the cracks.
The community it's such a mix of different characters. You've got rich people, poor people, a lot of the new immigrants into Australia have taken on the pigeons, especially from the Middle East. So they've got pigeons over there and then they come here, and it's been a really good way for them to join in by joining clubs, and they get to know people all over Australia.
Yeah, it is a really lovely community, especially seeing it grow. And obviously, I think what I've seen happening is you have obviously the old generation of pigeon fanciers, and often they're obviously older now, and they're often more in the racing and fancier community, and they often have hordes and hordes of pigeons. They have big spaces for them in giant lofts outside. But I reckon what I'm seeing now, and probably what I'm more lean towards, is the pet pigeon side, and that's where you see people having these singular house pet pigeons and pigeons that are really friendly, will sit on your shoulder.
I want 4, and once you got 4, you want 10. So to stick with just having that little backyard box, as much as you want to, you just want to have more.
That brings you to racing as well, so you do get a lot of racing pigeons.
Racing pigeons, if you've got a good team of birds, which most people have around 50 to 80 birds to race, and it's just a matter of letting them out every day to get fit and flying around. They'll fly up to an hour or 2 around the house every day, and then once they're old enough, sort of 3-4 months old, you can start taking them short trips away from home and letting them go, and they'll get used to coming home, and then it's just you build up the distance week by week until they're ready to race. At the first race is around 100 kilometres.
But what happens with those ones is obviously either A, they get let out on a race and they'll be lost. So we'll get a lot of juveniles, especially at the start of the racing season, where it's their first race, and they're pretty young. I think they're about 5 or 6 weeks when they start racing them, and so obviously that's the training bit. And obviously sometimes they don't know, they don't have it in them, and they get lost or they get tired. And obviously, once again, being domesticated birds, these birds have lived in captivity their whole lives. They suddenly go outside and they're like, okay guys, what do I do? So they're completely stuck in limbo again.
And they're pretty self-sustaining. They're smart, and if they're fit and healthy, they've got the confidence to do just about anything.
And then that comes to the second racing pigeons bit, is when they get injured. And that's probably racing pigeons have the most traumatic injuries, just because of the way they're exposed to the outside. So oftentimes we have amputated wings from traumatic events. We had one a while ago that had a falcon get them from the sky and took the entire ring right off. So this person found this bird, this racing pigeon, on the floor sitting here, and then the wing was about, I think 3 or 4 metres on that side, and obviously that's a pretty gruesome sight. Also flying into power lines, and then what happens, you get massive lacerations.
Biggest risk is birds of prey. So peregrine falcons they might only kill one bird to eat, but the panic in young birds, inexperienced birds, they'll go for cover and they'll go into trees and they'll break wings and hurt themselves. So one falcon attack, they might only kill one to eat, but they'll destroy 10 or 15 other birds going into trees. That again comes down to the way they've been trained. If they've been looked after properly, You pretty much won't lose any birds besides being attacked by falcons or getting mixed up with other birds in other areas. So, for example, I could take my birds 100 kilometres and get 100% returns every time. But for people that don't take care of their birds and rush them, one mistake, they could lose 20 or 30 birds and they just end up in cages all over Melbourne.
Obviously, you'll just get a lot of things, like really unfortunate things like that, just because a lot of the conditions that they're racing in by nature are just really risky, and often you'll either have, the birds fully deceased, like before you can even rescue them, or the ones that are still sticking around still have pretty unfortunate wounds to them. So yeah, there's some pretty nasty ones, and it can be quite jarring to see, especially for like members of the public. Like, what I will say is that, when you do lose a bird, I think it is your responsibility to put up at least some sort of information somewhere to say that you have lost the bird. So sometimes it is a bit frustrating when we have all these like lost racing pigeons, and it's just like, oh, well, no one's looking for them. And obviously that means no one really wants them back. And that's really unfortunate to see. If we do have issues, I think if rescues do have issues returning birds to breeders, we should try not attack at each other, because I think that obviously it's going to make the groups more polarised, and it's going to keep on increasing tension and sort of creating a self-perpetuating cycle. I hope one day that there will be a ground, and I know that there is. I know some people, I know there's obviously, myself included, like a few people who sit in the middle and see it as, let's all work together to create a future where, we can all live in harmony and hope, and, and ensure that we have like these really important discussions where we can reduce the suffering of birds ultimately, because that's what we all want to do. I don't think anyone wants to purposefully harm birds.
I'd just have to say, for having pigeons, it's like having an escape when you get home. It's almost like therapy when you get home and you've had a big day to just go out and spend an hour with the birds. You don't think about anything else. The stress of the day is just gone. You get something to take your mind off it.